Hello and welcome to my craft room. I've got some card making for you again today. I'm going to be using a couple of dies that were sent to me by a company called fgnormal. I will put a link to them in the description box. So let me show you very quickly what I'm going to be using, and I'll show you the finished cards that I've made, and then I'll go into a quick look at how they came together. Let's have a look at the cards first. So these are the cards that I've made, and what I'm thinking is these are going to be ideal for sending off my swaps, my stitchery swaps, as they become ready. So I wanted them to stay reasonably flat, not two dimensional, for going in the post all over the world. So the idea with this is that it's essentially all of these are one design but variations on it. So one design, I'm using two different dies from fgnormal, I'll show you them in a minute, and kind of three variations on a theme. But endless variations depending on what pattern papers you've got, or you know what your personal style is. So this is the first variation. These four were all done. So you can see, although this is kind of just one variation on this design, this kind of layout, because I've used completely different colour combinations in each one, it gives them a really different look. This one I've also used a sparkly pen. I've used it on the heart as well. And then the next, so same basic layout, but a very different look. This time I've stacked up the die cut frames to look more like kind of like a window. And I've used metallic card to cut the words. But it's the same simple layout. And then last of all, I didn't use the frame at all, I just used the squares inside and stacked some of them up, like you can see there, and some of them just left flat, and again used metallic card for the words. So they're very different looks, but you can see they're all basically the same layout. So that's what I'm going to be walking you through in a minute, just giving you the basic steps for how they go together. And these are the dies. So there's this square frame die. So this was $2.99. These word dies, I used here it is. So I used both of those two, and they were $1.99 each. $2.99, these were $1.99, and these two little heart dies actually came out of another set, which I've used before on here, this little snail set, which was $5.99. But that included all of the stamps and the dies to cut out all of the shapes, and it also included these two. One design, two dies, basically two dies, and three variations on the theme, but as I say, endless variations depending on what colours and papers and things you use. So I'm now going to pass over to my former self and show you how I made these. This first card's really simple, and I'm thinking I'm going to batch make a whole load of these. So I've got the square frames die from fgnormal, and also from fgnormal this chunky hello word die. I love these big chunky words. I used to use them a lot for scrapbooking as well, actually. So I've got that. I've got just a ready-made cheapy card blank. I might need to cut that down, but I'll wait and see. And this is going to be using up some of my scraps of pattern paper and card and things, and I'm thinking I can batch make a whole load of these all at the same time. So I've got these were like thin little papers. I think they were mostly free out of scrapbooking and papercraft magazines years ago, and I just hoarded them. And then I've got scraps of card as well from leftover projects. First thing I'm going to do is die cut a whole load of pieces out of these. So of course the other thing I'm going to need is my die cutting machine, my trusty little Cuttlebug. I've got a bigger one as well, but this is the one that I tend to pull out because it's just easy and small to have on my desk. And then I've got these cutting plates that go with it. I'm just going to cut one piece just to show you. So if you've not used one of these die cutting machines before, they all have different kind of sandwiches of cutting plates that you have to use. You can see mine are a bit overused and I haven't taken very good care of them. It's handy to have a little bit of washi tape nearby as well. So I've put this cutting side down onto my card. And probably what I should be doing is doing it this way up to save my cutting plate, but my cutting plates are rubbish already. So now I find that certainly with my machine it can bulk a little bit if I put something with a straight side like this straight in. whichever way around, it can kind of struggle a little bit, but I find it goes easier if you just turn it slightly diagonally like that, so you don't get that whole straight edge feeding in all at once. It starts at the point and goes in gradually. It just eases it through. Place that I could use a little bit of tape, but I'm fairly confident that I don't need to. Let's put my other sandwich plate on top and wind it through. I think I'm going to try it just going through once. Sometimes I find I need to go through twice because this is fairly heavy card, but let's see. Let's just try it as it's the first time. Let's see how we go. Oh no, that's cut through beautifully first time. So you can see you end up with this frame. I didn't realise there's actually an extra border frame around here, which is quite nice, so I can do an extra little accent. That's really fun. You could just cut that in metallic, or nice. So you get this whole framework and then all of these little individual squares. Now some of them haven't quite cut through completely on this. It's pretty good, and I could probably just coax them out, but I might, when I'm cutting the rest, if I'm doing a thicker piece of card, I would just go back through the machine again. So my plan is going to be that I'm going to cut this out a few times, all of different cards and pattern papers, and then I'm going to mix and match them together. So I'll come back to you when I've cut a few more out and I'm ready to assemble. It's going to be really simple. As you can see, I've had a whale of a time cutting out all of these pieces. I've separated them all out and I've divided them into colours to make it a bit easier for the next stage. I also cut some of the chunky hello word, so I will probably stack these up. I might use some just plain white. It can look really nice, and one of the things I like to do is to stack up several layers to make the word really nice and chunky. Also cut out some hearts. So these came from the snail mail set that I've probably already showed you earlier in the video. There's the little heart stamp, and there's the die that cuts it out, or you can just use it to cut it out of plain card and pattern paper like I've done here. And it's nice that there are two hearts so you can cut two at a time and not have to go back and forth quite so many times. Right, so I'm putting them to one side now, bringing some of my card blanks. I think what I'm going to do is work on 3 at a time and do 3 kind of different colourways so you can see the sort of different effects you can get. So I might choose a pattern background, I might do some plain, and these bits, these very edge kind of border pieces are quite flimsy. I don't know how well I'm going to get on adding that in, but it'd be nice if I can. So yeah, but I'm going to put the squares in before I do that. Okay, I'm going to sit and spend a few minutes just popping these squares into the little windows and creating a nice, nice sort of composition of colours. And I'll be back in a mo. Change your mind, I thought I'd come back and just show you working through one after all. So I've just stuck a plain pink one down there, and now I've got a pattern pink one. I'm just going to layer that up just to give it a little bit more substance. These little use these little needle applicator glue things. I just fill them with PVA glue. Really handy for doing this kind of thing. You can also use the sticky back double-sided film stuff, which you apply to the paper before you put it through the die cutting machine, and then you just got to peel the backing off and it's all sticky for you. But I think with the wet glue it just gives me that little bit of wiggle time to make sure everything's lined up nicely, whereas with the self-adhesive stuff it grabs straight away. The trick is not to use too much of it because it spreads out as you press it down. It spreads itself out and you don't want it getting all over the place and getting messy. Okay, so there's my, you can see just by just doing those 2 layers you've just got a little tiny bit of dimension to it. It just to me makes it look better. And then I'm just going to start adding in my little pattern paper squares. Thinking maybe I'll do pinks and greens and blues for this one. Yeah, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? So before I put any more in there, okay, let's glue them in like that. When I'm all done with these backgrounds, I will take the paper pieces And I'll also glue a couple together just to give them a bit more substance. I might place it there, I might place it here. A contrast can be really nice. One thing I like to do is to have a stack of different colours, of whatever colour on the bottom, and then put a white one on the top, so you just see the edge of it. This helps to make it stand out. And you can even slightly offset them on purpose as well, can look quite good. I'm going to carry on filling all these little squares and then I'll be back. I finished putting those 4 together, trimmed them down just a little bit just to make it all balance out. I think they're quite fun, and I think just to add a little extra bit of something, I'm going to add a bit of this sparkle pen. It's a fgnormal sparkle pen. It's just a clear liquid in here that when it dries just leaves a subtle shimmer, which I think is really pretty. It's not like glitter, it's much more subtle than that. I'm just going to paint that onto the words just to make it a little bit more special. Don't know if that will show. Oh, there we go. There, the camera's picking it up now, so you can see it's got that shimmer, but it's not in your face like glitter. And I think I might just get some what they're called, like liquid pearls or something, just to make some little dots, or you know, enamel dots or little jewels would do it just as well as sequins. You see it easily in real life, but it's hard to catch it on the camera. I think it's really pretty. So I will do that off camera in a minute. Next one I wanted to show you, I've got some bits cut out already. I've cut 4 of these. I'm gonna just in plain white, and I'm just gonna be layering those together to give them a bit more substance. And then I've cut 2 pieces. I'm gonna make 2 cards, so I've cut 2 pieces that will fit just inside this frame. The first thing I'm going to do is just colour these pieces with some, I'm going to use some distress oxides, because that's what I've happened to got on my desk, because lovely Hannah sent me some just recently. So I'm going to try 2 different, any excuse to get my distress out. I'm going to try 2 different kind of colourways. That one was picked raspberry. I've got abandoned coral I'm going into now. Don't need to get it, doesn't need to be perfect for this. I don't really do perfect. Now I'm going into spiced marmalade. I love doing these kind of rainbow gradients. Squeeze lemonade. These distress oxides are lovely, or distress inks, normal distress inks, original distress inks are lovely as well. I've got quite a lot of both, and it was really amazing to get these extra ones, these extra beautiful colours from Hannah the other day. That was squeezed lemonade. Now we're doing twisted citron. It's lovely how if I'd have tried to go from that pink into that green, it just would have gone all murky in the middle, but because I've gone kind of in rainbow order, each colour is blended nicely into the next. I'm just going to finish up with this broken china. Love the names of these inks as well. I think that will do me for what I want for this. So the idea is that I will glue these 2 together, glue this one on the top, and then it will go over like that onto my card blank, which I'll trim again. And then this time I'm going to use metallic letters, or metallic card rather. I've cut the words out of metallic card, and I've gone for the hugs word this time. So I'll just go there. So it's the same bit different. It's a very similar design, but just a variation on it. And I might just stick with the idea of there being a little heart in there as well. So I think that's quite cute. Possibly I will stack several hearts together. Could even put one of these in here just to make the heart stand out. I could fill in one of those and make the heart stand out. Can you tell I'm making it up as I go along? Yep, I will probably do that, and then I'll trim it down again to fit. So that's that one. And then for this next one, I'm going to use a different colour. So I've got these 3 shades of blue. I'm going to start with broken china at the top of my card. I think I might deliberately leave some gaps and make it look almost like a cloudy sky. That's quite pretty, isn't it? Mermaid Lagoon, a little bit deeper. And finally, blueprint sketch. Quite purpley, this one. I think that's quite pretty. Same thing, stack up 2 of the frame pieces and pop them over the top and put the whole thing on a card blank. I think maybe that blue would look nice. Okay, so I'm going to put them together and I'll be back again. Here we go, so that's how those 2 turned out. Quite happy with them. I think this is maybe my favourite. That's the quickest one to do as well. So that's those. For this last one, I'm just going to place the frame here, but I'm not going to stick it down. What I want to do is just have the squares on there without the frame. Crafting injury. Attacked by a pokey tool. Hopefully I'm keeping this something like straight. Oop. So now I can lift off this frame that I've just been using as a sort of a guide. Hopefully all the squares will stay stuck. Oh, except that one. Okay, I've lost one. Just move that over. I'm just wondering whether to make some of these deeper as well, just for fun. Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, no, I should have thought of this because this is where the word's gonna go. Okay, we'll do that. Then we'll put another green on top of here. There we go. Trim it down, and that'll go just across there. I'm just going to use a bit more of the Wink Stella pen and just put on the hearts. Yeah, you definitely could add like a jewels in them or dot sequins around or whatever. Definitely. There we go. I've still got lots of leftover pieces, so I've got plenty there to make probably enough cards to send all my swaps off. Basically, one design, 2 dies. 3 different variations really, and by varying up the colours and things as well, you get completely different sort of looks to them. Which are my favourites? Okay. Oh, I don't know. See, that's I think it's that one. Needed one like that, and probably this one. They're probably my favourites. There we go. There's my thumbnail. As I say, really just one design, 2 dies, 3 different variations, but endless variations when you think about it. If you've got lots of scraps of paper to use up and things, or just add colour with ink. If you haven't got pattern paper, add colour with ink. Yeah, you could even ink up, the die cut words to match your backgrounds and things as well. It's just, yeah, endless possibilities with dies like this. Love them, love dies. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.